Okay, New Earth Strategies Day 8. But it's April 14th and it's actually nighttime. I wasn't necessarily going to get into another rap today because I'm still absorbing the new energies and thoughts and strategies. And I said I was kind of wrapping it up with 7. Eight's kind of a better number, but I'm probably going to keep going. This whole New Earth has a new energy, the New Earth series, the latest one. There's a lot of things I haven't covered in it, but I'm getting closer to the things that I think count. And in any case, the new energies include it's easier to talk about crazy stuff. And I've been, but I'm also talking about it's time to get things happening on the ground. A lot of people are mesmerized by what's going on out there. And it's not, it's nothing to be, it's not a surprise. For one, they're trying to grab your attention with the latest crazy AI and all the, everything's incentivized to sensationalize. There's a lot of perverse incentives that create this situation. People think it's being done to us on purpose. I don't think so. There's a lot of perverse, and I don't want to say perverse, there's a lot of incentives that take us sideways from higher values. And in the context of all that, you're going to have mafias or whatever taking and elites. And in the context of an economy that people don't take care of each other like they should. You're gonna have there's an incentive to get rich and try to like hide and keep your family safe and all that. But I was saying we're in really fast move paced time. I keep mentioning the 3 perspectives that are kind of a grab bag, but they're kind of specific. They have to try to simplify all these perspectives we've got because people are pointing fingers and it's time to come on to the same page and start working together. Is that even possible, Mike? Theoretically, and who really talked about that? I mean, all the spirit schools talk about that, but it was the materialites who talk about we all came from a single point, Big Bang. They're trying to back off a little from that and say, well, maybe it didn't happen. That wasn't maybe the first Big Bang. It might have happened, and then it happened again. They're trying to back off from the fact that you're basically just poofing up a incredible amount of basically infinite energy from the nothing. But it does come to one point, and the fact that it's unified, and the fact that it's kind of one vibrational field, all of that is materialite, science, provable. Then from the Buddhists, they even can almost from science get to the idea of a one mind, of a substrate of kind of presencing energy, as that what's quantifiable with the quantum burbles. Burbles. I know they don't call it that. Where it's popping in positron electron pairs, little all the time, flitting back out into nothingness. You can create nothing, try to suck everything out of it. Create a vacuum, it keeps popping back in. From the materialite perspective, we're in the last days of this economy, society, possibly World War III. As far as the idea that we're going to have it gets better with each generation. We're shifting. It just can't go on this way. If you want to say it's going to crash with resource depletion and global warming causing the the food shortages and all, it's already everything's gone critical, man. And it was for 50 years ago. You could see it. You could probably see it from further back. A lot of the Bible could even be people intuiting that from thousands of years ago. But I say the Jehovite story is true too, but we don't need to get into that. But what I'm pointing out, whether you believe it or not, a lot of the world is Christian and watching the Bible kind of, uh, a lot of these Bible prophecies are semi coming true. I don't want to get into that. I'm saying all of these 3 perspectives are in their end days as if transition days, all of it basically transition days, different ways. Whether you believe whatever you believe. Now, my point is, though, and I've been trying to hammer this home, the Buddhites, which is the ones, and you've got a spirit school conflict, pointing fingers at each other to some extent, mostly ignoring each other and just saying, when I say God, I mean one thing. When you say God, you mean something else, and let's just leave it at that. I'm like, come on, man, that's not good enough. we can be more clear about what we're talking about. And when we are, people get in. That's why they don't do it, because, like, yeah, we can't possibly imagine something like Jehovah, because there's kind of a the Jehovah. I want to. This is my perspective. I can say it now. We're just putting it all out there. The Christian story is foreshortened so that you don't have to get into the paradoxes that really is the foundation of beingness. The one mind paradoxes are closer to that. Information theory um, is about the three-sided paradox that I say is the. I mean, I saw it in vision. I didn't figure this out. We've gone through all that. My point is, I say the Jehovahite stuff is real. The Buddhite stuff, where we're into the one mind, and you've got a certain level of civilization rises to collective consciousness and awareness, and we're there. Let's say that they talk from the Kali Yuga into a greater awareness, and the Kali Yuga means these days we've just been through a serious violence, a lot of pain, slavery, mining of metals. On most of my art planets, we don't do metal because somebody's got to mine that. You know, fantasy is now reality. So I'm talking about things I've seen in my own visioning or imagination. Some of my visioning is precise, and that's not the point. The point is, it's time to move on to what we can do. I'm halfway through what Facebook lets me post, and otherwise it gets annoying. So that's what keeps me from rambling too far into, because I can. But I've been kind of, now everybody's all light workers. Not everybody. It's not that many people when you actually look around. Most people are still stuck because they have to be doing their job. And that is my point to the light workers, that I understand and I see their thing. And from my perspective, I am one. I'm not one of the ones that they talk about. I'm from Planet Brambles. Yikes. Shut up, Mike. We got to do it in the real world. All of these the Buddhite transition, that we're going to have 1% meditate and everything's going to be cool, or else the motherships are going to give us technologies that are going to make it cool. Okay, you really think so, you guys? And then, because a lot of those Buddhites are really agnostic spirit, and at the same time are pretty much trying to be real materialistically. If you look at it that way, I'm saying I don't care how inspired we get if we don't actually change the way we do business, and the way we essentially, business is based on, I mean, politics is based on business. So these political pointing of fingers are not going to resolve that way. They get resolved on the ground in the way that the economy works. We've had economy that's rivalrous dynamics. Everybody accepts rivalrous dynamics as a baseline. Everybody's in it for themselves. Good luck, neighbor. Maybe I can buy you out. What the hell? Where's your community? Everything we do involves community to make it happen. And we tried to explain this to the libertarians back in the 90s when I did a little literal political, that word literal, everybody uses it, overuses it. I literally got into politics. I'm not just talking politics. I was Green Party state co-chair in New Mexico from 95 to 97 when we first launched Ralph Nader. My perspective was we should be a green community. We had 3,000 people. Suits invaded the, not invaded. We had early successes. They came to, and a couple of them ran for co-chair, male co-chair, and people wanted anybody to run against them. I showed up late, and I said, sure. And I won because that made sense. Libertarian green. And when I was co-chair for a year and a half, when we first ran Ralph, I was talking community-based economics. He didn't know, nobody knew what that meant, but it sounded good. And we had Liberty Green Caucus with the Libertarians, the Stoner Caucus from the Libertarians. I don't know where they are now, but, and the Green Stoner Caucus were a little bit less PC socialists, because that's where the Greens went, trying to tell everybody what to do before they knew what they were doing themselves. And we're at that place now where the Maha Purple is leading the way back to health, personal health, ecological health based on farming. That's where a lot of it, and then other things. We're trying to get back to what's real, but it's also challenging all this for-profit mentality of industries like the medical industry. But the thing is, it doesn't quite go far. And it's amazing to me that there's a government agency that's actually working towards the light, finally. Let's not get into the Trump derangement or what Trump is doing, but there's nothing you can do about it for 3 years. We have 3 years now. I'm talking to my progressive allies, former Green Party allies. Now everybody looking at me askance because I'm not Trump deranged. I'm not. He's a wild card as far as the political establishment, letting in a lot of different things to happen that wouldn't have happened otherwise. The Democrat Party, I used to call them Democratic, but they stopped being Democratic, didn't they? And to me, the last decent candidate, respectable, and was Jerry Brown in '92. Clinton was a sellout up front, and right away we went to the global economy willingly. Right now, there's a lot of right wing pointing to the left wing, and I want to say both sides got to stop pointing fingers. But we are coming to a place where we're doing it on the ground first, the way the right wing wants to do it. We've unleashed American business, but what are we going to do with that? It's an opportunity to take a whole new generation of Z kids. That's who I was talking to today. I compressed it a lot more than this. And we talked about a lot more crazy stuff. Maybe I'll do a second one tonight. I don't know. But I want to wrap it up. We're at a place where whether you believe in the higher consciousness of the fifth dimension, I got a lot of people, not a lot, the three people that check me out, one of them is a friend that believes in that. We need to make all those changes happen in the real world. Evolution is real. Both spirit schools will know. The Jehovahite spirit school is the one that aligns with the materialite world where it had a beginning and it evolves into something better. It parallels the Jehovahite story that says there was a beginning and now we're taking it to the kind of culmination where we're trying to go. It's not just kind of benevolent cosmos, which is the Buddhite version, a benevolent cosmos that more or less never changes. And so if you want to get over the troubles of the material plane, you got to leave the material plane or become really skilled Zen ninja and somehow avoid all the pain. But it doesn't say we can get to a place where we understand the material plane sufficiently to really share it abundantly as if it was the fruit of spirit, which it is. And that's what Jehovah is trying to explain. But to explain the whole way it works is too complicated. And he exists as a being that came in naturally in an actual beginning. But the beginning was Sophia. She was more turned inward of feminine energy and then a bunch of masculine energy. This is a real shorthand of a vision I saw. The Gnostics have some of that. And the point is the Christians don't need to understand more than they do. Jehovah pretty much was the daddy. This is the cosmos is the child of Sophia and Jehovah. So who cares, Mike? Yeah, right now, just because what I'm saying is the Jehovah story is real. So is the one mind story. But on the other hand, the material world is also has evolution, and we've been going through 13 billion years of it. At a certain point, the probably natural intrinsic intelligent design of life itself that creates physics and chemistry. At a certain point, there is probably, I'm saying there is, intelligent design with more of a consciousness, self-consciousness. But there's evolution also, and it comes from above and from below, from within. There's this Sophia's energy is more intrinsic and from as Mother Earth, and there's a rational energy that's more masculine, and there's a Jehovah personality that's involved with intrigue and intelligent design in terms of greater events. That's how crazy it is. Yeah, that's crazy. Yes, well, what compared to lizard heads from Draconia or Anukai from the 11th planet that zings around and comes back and wants our gold, which all of that might be true. And here's my point. If it is all this true, and Jehovah is a player, we're doing this once, the whole Christian story is true because it works. And it's a simplification of a real story, but there's no lies in it. It does work. You get to it. You stay with it. The one they should have emphasized the idea, hey, Christians, we're giving you the shorthand. There's other people trying to understand the longhand, and sometimes they get it wrong, but don't point fingers. Pat them on the back. Say, if you really want to just come home to heart, that's the Christian path. But the Buddhist path gets to an understanding of how it all works. The Tibetan stuff got into some real good stuff. At a certain point, our essence is emptiness, our nature lucidity, a certain consciousness in the emptiness is what we are, and our energy ever arising. But how this evolves into a material plane where we can all participate, it's a crazy scene, but it's happening once on Earth. Jehovah's calling it, and yeah, but also there's an ascension, and also we're in a political economic crisis, all three at the same time. So now, from the Buddhist side, ascensions are natural.